Schiavone, and our show is Spiritual Exploration. I am here tonight with Mary Silvernail, who you might remember has been a guest on my show on several occasions. Most welcome guest, and I welcome her once more.
Oh, thank you for having me back, Christine.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thank
Always
you.
my pleasure. I mean, you are so knowledgeable on a lot of spiritual subjects, and that's what my aim is to put out this knowledge and this information to my audience and to anybody who hopefully will benefit by it. And tonight we're going to talk about past lives.
Yes.
Some people believe in past lives and some people don't. I used to not believe in past lives, but then I had a few past life regressions with a couple of different people who were doing that type of thing. And I did manage to be able to look back and see a few lives. I saw a life where I was an 11-year-old girl somewhere in the cowboy times, like in the 1800s, and I was dressed in the garb that little girls wore at that time, and I would talk about my family and my mother and saying, and I knew that it was a past life thing because afterwards I was reminded by the person who brought me back.
Yes.
He said, you said at one point that when you and your mom went to the general store to pick up things for the house, material to make clothes, food, whatever, and if she had a penny left over, she'd get you a sucker, which is a lollipop. We call them lollipops today, but at that point they called them suckers. And I inadvertently referred to it as a sucker, so there it came out.
Amazing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely amazing.
Yes.
How many times have you gone back?
Well, I had another friend of mine in Manhattan that used to come to my house on occasion. So I've gone back maybe about all told about half a dozen times.
Yeah, absolutely.
And different lives, and I've also recognized people in this life that were in that life and that were a different relationship to me than they are now.
Oh, yeah, because we all travel in soul groups. So we are all finishing our karma with one another from our soul group. And that's why families, they all have the same soul group, usually.
Yeah.
Now, in one lifetime, maybe your mother was actually your father or your brother or your husband or your sister or whatever in another lifetime.
Right.
And we just keep coming back, doing it again. And plus, we want to come back because we want to reunite with our soul group.
Yeah, we want to reunite. We might have unfinished things, things that we wanted to finish, or things we didn't accomplish in one life that we would like to accomplish in another.
Absolutely.
And so we come back. And sometimes we come back because we've made so many karmic mistakes that we have to do it over again.
And over and over and over and over and over. Right. But we also get good karma many times from a past life, the good works that we did. And these we'll come and have them enjoy for this particular lifetime. We get to enjoy them. So when a person just seems to have such good luck, that's because they earned it in other lifetimes.
They might have, even if they don't seem to deserve it now.
Right. Yeah, this is true. This is very, very true. And, I do a lot of past life regression in my office at Hope Hypnosis. Now, I'm a board-certified clinical hypnotist, and I'm also an instructor for the National Guild of Hypnotists. So I teach hypnotherapy too. But past life regression is one of the things that I absolutely adore doing because through past life regression myself, in my own life, it has helped me tremendously. Because lots of times people can't understand why they keep repeating bad relationship after bad relationship.
Going around the same mountain over and over again.
With a different person each time, but they're always over and over. Or if they're in a relationship and they really, really want to leave that relationship, but for some reason they just can't. They feel that they just can't. Even if it's an abusive relationship sometimes.
Usually they just can't because they are financially dependent on the other person.
Absolutely, or emotionally dependent on some way.
Yeah.
But there, in my office, because as you know, I do a lot of different things. I'm also an esoteric astrologer and a psychic and a medium, and I do readings on a daily basis. What I have noticed is that many times, like when a man is in a relationship with a woman, and even though he's not financially dependent upon that woman, and they may break up, but then go back together again, and then may break up, and then go back together again. It's the karmic ties that they just can't seem to break that originated in who knows how many lifetimes. Now, in a reading as an esoteric astrologer, I can look at your lifetimes astrologically. But as far as the lifetimes, this is what I have found to absolutely be so. The reason that past life regression is absolutely, absolutely wonderful and healing is because if you're having a problem in your life, whether it be a phobia, a relationship, whatever it may be, maybe you have an addiction problem of some sort, if you are regressed by a professional and you're regressed back to the lifetime where that origin is of that problem, and you get to really view that lifetime, experience it, feel it, and then come to conclusions about it and rectifying it, I'm telling you, it heals it for this particular lifetime. It's unbelievable.
In other words, if you've had like a bad experience in a previous lifetime, like say for instance, you were run over by a bus or something.
Yeah.
So now you're afraid every time you step into the street, you're looking all over the place, and you don't know why you're so afraid to step into the street, even though it looks safe.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right. That is so right.
Or if you got mauled by a bear, and so you don't even want to look at pictures of bears or something like that.
Well, that's what happened to me. I had a very bad phobia at one point in my life from early on. It could never be really completely explained. And I went through a past life regression and uncovered actually several lifetimes. I went back for other experiences of the past life regression. And that's one of the things that really, because it cured my phobia. And so that's one of the reasons why I became a hypnotist, besides other things, such as that I couldn't stop smoking, and I tried, and then I went to this hypnotist, and he helped me. Well, he also was a regressionist, and he became a very close friend of mine. And he had passed away a few years ago.
Oh.
Yes, yeah. But, I've been practicing for many, 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 many years.
Mm-hmm.
And, but past life regression is my favorite thing to do because, number one, people really enjoy the experience of it.
Unless
it's
they've
remarkable.
had a bad experience that they don't want to relive.
Oh, no. Let me explain that to you. Yes, because in a past life regression with me, you actually even experience leaving your body at the moment of your passing in that lifetime. However, the techniques that I use, you are not feeling any pain. You're not feeling, you just float out of your body and you're looking down.
Do you actually float out of your body?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then you're looking down at that particular lifetime. Because in a past life regression with me, there's interaction that's going on when it's a one-on-one. Now, sometimes in my office, like in September, I'm going to be doing a group past life regression. I do one of them once a year at least, because a lot of people like to come to that. But the best way is one-on-one, because I'm constantly interacting, and I'm a professional.
Lifetime, that's it.
I'm a professional, so I don't allow any type of what's called an ab reaction. So if there was something awful that happened in that lifetime that you regress to, and if I see in any way it's starting to upset you, there's techniques that I use in order for that not to happen.
In other words, you'll like change the subject or something, or bring them into
I do different hypnosis techniques,
right,
in order to, and I have never had, absolutely not once, ever. And the location that I'm at now in Waretown, New Jersey, I have been at that location for 13 years. Prior to that, I was in Freehold. And so, I mean, I've been practicing this a very long time.
So you know what you're doing.
Yes, I do.
I'm sure you do.
Yes, I do. Because if the person is not properly trained, it can create a really,
Oh, it could wreak havoc, because then people can get very confused, I guess, huh?
Exactly. But, let me tell you. Everybody thinks, like, when they're going to have if they go for a past life regression, or what was I in a previous life, or who was I?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of women say, oh, I think I was Cleopatra or something like that.
Exactly, right?
Right.
But the truth of the matter is, the majority of people were just ordinary people.
That's true.
Ordinary people. But it's the experiences that your soul had in those particular lifetimes that have to be worked through. And, but the most famous person that I ever brought back,
really,
that came up, and this is absolutely so.
Okay.
Janis Joplin.
Really?
Yes.
And now, were you able to really certify that it was Janis Joplin?
What happened? Well, yeah, because it was a young girl. I'm talking about, she wouldn't even know who Janis Joplin is.
Really?
Okay, so we're talking about somebody, oh my goodness, what was she, like in her 20s or something?
Okay.
I have all the paperwork on it. But what happened was, she was talking about being, with this guy and on the stage, and she didn't know why she was. Anyway, through the research that was done, it turned out to be because the names that she had. See, when clients leave me after a past life regression, they go home and do their own research.
Oh, because do they have like a CD of their experience that they
Sometimes I do that,
yeah.
or I'm always writing notes, and plus I go over the lifetime after they come back to this current lifetime. I go over all the details
with them.
Yes, absolutely. And I also tell them that it is extremely imperative, prior to them laying their head on their pillow that night, that they write down every single thing that they can remember. I mean, every single thing. If they saw a little daisy growing in the grass, they should write it down. Because what happens is, more memories come up while you're doing that writing. Mm-hmm. It's really imperative.
Even when you're not under the influence of the hypnosis.
Correct. And by the way, by having a past life regression, what happens is it opens the pathways in the subconscious mind, in your mind, for every single lifetime we ever lived is locked away in our subconscious mind. And it opens up those pathways. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, I'm interrupting.
Yeah. And what happens is, just because you open up those pathways, just because of that, more lifetimes can enter in when you're not even thinking about it, in your dream state. Oh, yeah.
Wow,
Very, very prevalent.
That's
Yes.
During a seance, I was told by a spirit that was channeling through a medium that I had 138 lifetimes.
Oh, I bet you had at least that.
Well, the spirit said, you prefer to stay on the other side more than you prefer to come here. He said, so you've only been here 138 times.
Yeah.
I said, I could relate to that. Yes, I could relate to that. I probably do like spending more time over there than over here.
Well, yeah, in a past life regression with me also, what I do is you're in between lives for a while there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go to a previous lifetime, sometimes several lifetimes. Then, after we're all done with all of that and the balancing of all that lifetime, I always give my clients the option of going 5 or 10 years in the future also,
Really,
while we're traveling on the timeline. Yes, it's in the same session.
But the
Very
thing
interesting.
Is, I'll bet. But how do they know what they're going to do 5 or 10 years during the next 5 or 10 years, or what they're going to experience?
Because it's all
written down.
Yes.
Really?
Destiny. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So that's almost like looking at tarot cards or something.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like a reading of some sort. That's what your future is going to be.
Right, because when you are in that state of mind, when you are in alpha, and you are on that level and on that timeline, you can tap in to your higher self, who already knows everything that's going to be coming about. That's just like a psychic. How does a psychic know the future?
That's true.
You know,
Yeah.
because when you are in that state of mind, because that's really, as a psychic myself, I can tell you where I am. I'm an alpha. And that's how I am able to connect to the spirit world. That is how I'm able to, in a reading, to predict the future. You know, so when you're in that state, you can go on your timeline, because that's really where you are. You're traveling on the timeline of your soul.
Can you travel the timeline to the point where you might expire from this life, the day you die?
That is an option that I don't do in my sessions.
Uh-huh.
But it is an option. Actually, it is an option that is available that I know how to do, I'm trained to do. However, I choose not to do that.
Yeah.
I choose not to.
Well,
it's not really a good idea.
Yeah,
Yeah,
people might get
that's
frightened.
not a good idea. And anyway, too, if you put it out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, just like manifestation, if you're moving forward, just like The Secret and the Law of Attraction, if you're you are manifesting your future, right?
Yeah.
So what better time than when you're on your own soul's timeline there to manifest what you want 5, 10 years down the road, right?
Yeah.
Because actually everything's just a hologram anyway, you know? I mean, we're creating it and projecting it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Well, like they say, life is what you make it. You have to, you know, and people that complain about this happened, that happened, but you have to think about what you did to bring it on.
Right.
Yes.
And I have to tell you, though, I mean, I have clients that come to me. I mean, as I said, I help people with smoking, weight, stress, motivation, all kinds of things like that. But I also deal with a lot of phobias, like fear of flying, things like that. And many times the origin of a phobia is not in this lifetime. It's actually rooted in a previous lifetime. And unless you go all the way back to the origin, even if it's in a previous lifetime, what ends up happening is, until you really get to the root of it, you're still going to have residue of it.
So in other words, a person that has a fear of flying could have possibly been in a plane crash in a previous lifetime.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Something happened. Something. Fears don't happen for no reason. There's an origin. Every single phobia or irrational fear comes from an origin. There is an origin of
Even
it.
things like arachnophobia and fear of snakes and fear of wild animals or whatever. I mean,
Oh, sure.
yeah.
Oh, sure. Lots of times people, you know, when I regress them, if they have a fear of snakes or maybe an animal or something, it's all the way back from when they themselves were in the wild many times.
I guess, yeah, we've had lifetimes in the wild, huh?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I have regressed people back to Atlantis. There's also different techniques that I use that if you really want to just go into the future, I mean way into the future.
Into like
you
future
can.
lifetimes, even?
Yes.
Not just the future of this lifetime, but other future
Right.
lifetimes.
Right, it's all a timeline. But I have to tell you, what I love the best is in between lives. See, now, I have myself experienced 22 documented past lifetimes, not all through past life regression. Some have come to me in the dream state, and I can tell the difference in the dream state when it's of a past lifetime and when it's a dream. I just know the difference and the information that I get, and then I do the research, and oh yeah. The thing is that because my pathways of my mind are so wide open to this, that's why it happens. I mean, I also get messages sometimes from those who had already been in a past life with me. You know, lots of times our spirit guides are our teacher or our father or our shaman from a previous lifetime. And that's actually when a person connects with their spirit guide, many times that's who they're connecting with. Someone who had been an important mentor in their life.
In other words, someone who has previously gone on and may show up in the regression with a message for the person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I have to tell you, besides Janis Joplin, because let me tell you, that was just awesome. Oh, wow. But anyway, there was a woman who came to see me, young girl too, and she was from Philadelphia. And she came to see me for a past life regression, just for the fun of it. Heard about me and just wanted to come for that.
Okay.
And so we did it, and she got so much information. I mean, her first name, her last name, the street where she lived, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
In a past life.
Correct. She contacted me that night because she came to me in the morning that night. She was so excited on the phone because there really was a person at that name, that address, and everything. So then after that, her father came to see me, and he experienced very similar, experiences as her. And then her brother came to see me. What I'm saying is it's so true about the soul groups, how we travel in groups. You know?
Well, yeah, we do. The people that we are close to now are people that we've been close to before in previous lifetimes, and possibly future ones, I guess. But as you said, we hold different relationships with these people in each lifetime. We could be a parent to one and a son to that one, or a daughter or whatever in the future, whatever. You know what I mean? Yes. Now, but tell me though, there are people who come and go also that walk-ins and walk-outs. You know what I mean? And,
absolutely.
And were they people that we might have known just slightly in the past lifetimes as well, and they'll have the same kind of thing going on with us in this lifetime, and know them for a little while, and because we'll have contracts as well with each other.
Sacred contracts.
Yeah. Contracts that you can have a contract with somebody for 5 minutes, or you can have it for 5 years or 50 years.
I'm in total agreement with you, Christine.
Yeah, so when we have these contracts, and then when the contract ends, we just part company, that's it.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. But, the thing is, too, now, you mean walking in and out of our lives. That's why I wanted to be really crystal clear what you were referring to, because there is also walk-ins that there can be a soul exchange, that at some point between, maybe you, maybe me, maybe anyone could suddenly decide that they really do like it more on the other side and have an agreement with another soul to allow that soul to enter in. Such as when a person starts changing tremendously.
Their personality?
Yeah. Many times that's a walk-in. See?
Oh, walk into a person like a soul.
Correct.
Okay.
The soul.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Now, all righty. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or there could be attachments. There could be a soul attachment, which that's something I also help people with my Native American healing to extractions of maybe an attachment. But when there's a walk-in, no. That walk-in had already made that sacred contract, just like you're talking about people who come in and out of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
That soul has already made that sacred contract with that other soul to embody that particular person and finish out their lifetime for them.
Whoa, really?
Oh, yeah.
So then that person's actual soul does what? Take off or go where the other soul came from?
Goes to the other side.
As if they passed?
Or sometimes, go ahead, what?
As if they passed on?
Yeah, but the person is still alive.
Right.
But there's a
Somebody
soul
else is there.
exchange. A soul exchange that has occurred.
But does that soul have the memories of the person that was born in that body and grew up to that point?
Well, yes, but they seem to change a lot other than, no, because it's a completely, they have
what do
maybe
their
the
families
physical
think?
memories. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Let me tell
What's
you.
wrong with mom?
I think it was, it might, I don't know if it was in Japan. I think it was in Japan. There was this really famous artist. Unfortunately, I can't remember his name, but really famous artist and very unique type of art. And he passed. All of a sudden, this other young man started doing the same art. I mean, like right down to, there was a soul exchange that happened there.
But the artist himself went into the young man's body, in other words? Went to the young man.
Yes.
And where did the young man's soul
moved on? Yeah, sure. Just like before a baby is born, when the mom is pregnant, that soul of that baby is moving in and out until up to maybe sometimes even the 7th month of pregnancy. And there could be one soul coming in and then changing their mind and no, I'm going to go and here, then you can come in. Oh, yeah.
Well, I had heard that we pick our parents and we pick this one and we pick that one
Yes.
in our lives before we come here.
Yes.
And so if a woman is pregnant, the soul of the baby inside her isn't always the same soul. It's just they're exchanging until the day the person is going to be born.
Not always.
Yeah.
But not
always. In other words, it can happen. It's
it
not
can
the norm.
happen because a baby's soul, at least this is what we as Native American people believe, that a baby's soul does not completely attach. It's still like going back and forth from on the other side, does not completely attach until close to the 7th month of pregnancy, and then that's it. The decision has been made.
Does that mean then, not that it doesn't matter, but that it's not that it's, how can I put it? When a woman gets an abortion, she gets it before the 3rd trimester, then it's possible that it's not even a soul that's being pushed out.
Yeah, it isn't. That doesn't mean that that's a good enough reason.
True.
All I'm saying is that soul has the ability of going back and forth, has that ability to do so at will, and possibly could do a soul exchange prior to birth.
Really?
That can happen. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, a soul exchange takes place, but the soul coming in has to have your permission, correct?
Oh, yeah, it's a contract that's made. Both sides agree. Both sides agree.
Now, is this in the before time that this happened, that this agreement is made, or can it be
Sometimes-
made right then and there?
Now, look, this is just what, I believe is that perhaps the soul of the infant, the baby, has not 100% decided whether or not they want to stay in that embodiment, and so may make the decision to have some other soul attach itself. See, because what happens is that's why the baby's soul is going back and forth, trying to make up its mind. And that's, it's still on the other side. Just like little children. Little children are not 100% earthly bound until at least the age of 7. 7 is truly like the magic number. I feel that that's probably why that's when we get our first communion if you're Catholic,
Right.
that sacrament.
Yes.
So that's what happens, and I don't know if you've ever noticed, I'm sure you have, little children many times are, they have their imaginary friends and things like that.
Definitely.
Yeah, because they're so still attached to the spirit world.
Yeah, well, they also, because of that, they also know where they've come from. I mean, I remember one day I was at a friend's house, and another friend was walking in with his son, and the son was only about 4 years old at the time, but I overheard the child talking to his father as they were walking through the door and coming into the house. And I heard the little boy say to his father, Daddy, I chose you.
Yeah.
4 years old. I chose you on the other side. You know that. I wanted you for a daddy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Isn't that
and
beautiful?
I said, and I knew it at the time, and I said, that's amazing.
Yes,
Yeah,
awesome.
right.
Absolutely awesome. I mean, there's a lot of books written about past lives, and many have, solid evidence of a child talking about, that their name is this and that, and they have, So a really good book is Many Lives, Many Masters,
Yeah, I've
if
heard
a
of that
person
one.
ever
I've heard
wanted
of
to.
it.
Yeah. But, I mean, and then there's Life Between Lives. That's another really good book if you're interested in, between lifetimes.
There was a story, I believe it was in Japan, and there was a little boy who was insisting to his family that he had a wife and children somewhere else. And he knew exactly where they were and who they were.
Yeah.
And he had the address, he knew the address and everything. And he got to the point where his parents were so, like, let's just bring him there and satisfy him so that we can get past this.
Yes.
So they take the little boy, and he was about 7 at the time, and they take him to the address that he gave, and he walked in, they knocked on the door, and he said the name of the father of the children. It's me. And he knew the wife's name, he knew all the children's names, he knew everything about the family.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, I am so-and-so, I am the man that was, that is the father of these children. And he was like a little 7-year-old boy.
Oh, absolutely.
He was really able to remember and know who he was.
Well, my own personal experience with something similar to that was I was not a child at the time. I was actually an adult. And my grandmother had passed away when my father was only 17 years old. And
his mother.
Yes, devastated.
Oh.
Absolutely devastated him. I'm actually the 4th child in the family, the 3rd girl, yet he chose to name me after my grandmother. Interesting. Because there were 2 other girls. Yeah.
Really?
Right.
Because I was named after my grandmother.
Yeah. Are you not?
I'm the first.
You're the first, see? But no, this is not what happened. And actually, I was born in the hospital where my grandmother, my father's mother, had passed away. I was born in that hospital, and my father had not stepped foot in that hospital prior to my being born since the time of his mother's death.
Now, did she pass before you children were born, or before you, but not the others?
Oh, yeah, he was only 17. My
well,
mother and father
then
didn't get
he was
married.
she was
Long
long
gone.
gone before
Long
any of
gone.
you children were born.
Long gone.
Right, okay.
Long gone.
Yes, yes.
And actually, even my grandfather on my father's side he passed away a couple of years after his wife. So, but anyway, what happened was my sister, and please understand that my father was almost 40 by the time I was born.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, I was a late life baby. All the other 3 kids in my family, boom, boom, boom. Me, 9 years went by, and then me.
So you were surprised or what?
Surprise, surprise. Yes, I was. But what ended up happening was my sister, after our father had passed away, my sister started doing a lot of research and got me interested in trying to find the house that our grandfather had built and that they lived in. He had built it for my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, long story short, we did find it, and actually my husband, myself, my brother-in-law, and my sister, we took a ride up to North Jersey.
That's where it was?
Yes, it was. And we actually, my brother-in-law got out of the car because we're just looking at the house and everything. My brother-in-law gets out of the car and knocks on the door and explains.
Really? Oh,
and
no.
the people were just so generous and wonderful.
Uh-huh.
They let us come in, right?
Uh-huh.
We walk in the house, and I have to tell you, Christine, oh, my stomach is doing flips even talking about this. When I walked in that house, I truly felt like I was home, to the point where all of them are talking, and then I'm walking back towards the kitchen, and I asked, it just blurted out, I said, where's the pantry?
And now you had never been there before.
Never.
And you didn't know of
Never.
any pantry. And what'd they say?
Oh, we wanted to make the kitchen bigger, so we took that down years ago.
Oh, boy.
Now, how did I know?
How'd you know?
That's my point. Okay.
Yes, yes.
After that, there were several experiences that I had in reference to that house, but I would sit across the street, like I guess like a stalker, but they didn't know. But I wasn't stalking them. But
No, you were looking at the house.
I was looking at the house, and so many things would happen to me when I was parked my car. The flooding that happened of that previous lifetime was tremendous, tremendous. Anyway.
Well, who do you think you were in that house in that lifetime then?
My grandmother Mary.
Oh no, so you feel that you're a reincarnation
Oh, I know it.
of your grandmother.
I know it. There has been one thing after another. Then also, my father was diagnosed with lung cancer and 3 weeks later died in my arms.
Oh.
Now understand something. He had come home to die from the hospital. They told us he had 6 months. He died 3 weeks later.
Oh, boy.
My father was everything to me.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened was, it just so happened that my sister didn't get there in time. She was going to come and visit that evening. My children were outside playing. My mother was in the kitchen cooking. My brother was still at work. My other sister was down in Florida, okay? So what happened, I'm sitting there in my father's bedroom with him. He couldn't lay down, so we had brought his recliner into the bedroom. And there's the beautiful picture of his mother. So here's the picture of his mother that he's looking at. And here's me sitting there with my father. I mean, I didn't realize that was going to be the final moments, but what ended up happening was he'd look at the picture of his mother, and then he'd turn back and look at me. And then he'd turn and look at, he couldn't make up his mind which way what he wanted to do. Do you understand what I'm saying?
What?
It just turned out I was the only one with him at the moment of his death, which I find quite, I mean, my father loved all his children equally, so please don't think that.
Right.
But anything like that. But it was just, the way that God ordains things to be.
Yeah.
And
so you think he realized at the time that the picture that he was looking at and the person in you was the same person? So in other words then, if you or any other medium tried to contact your grandmother, she wouldn't be available on the other side because she's in you.
This is true with the exception of this. With the exception of this, which I have seen many times. There will be the essence of a soul on the other side, whereas the soul is actually embodied in a person. Do you understand what I mean?
The essence.
A soul can split. You've heard of that kind of thing.
Well, it's called omnipresent.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I couldn't think of the word,
Oh.
but I know what it is.
Right.
But yeah, exactly.
So I know.
So you're in agreement with me.
Absolutely.
And what was happening is his mother, Mary, was pulling him to the other side, but yet I'm still there, not wanting my father to leave. But then I just gently I saw that he wanted to go, and the things that he said to me, and he left.
Yeah. Have you been able to contact him or get messages from him?
It's constant.
Really?
It's constant.
That he talks to you and stuff?
It's constant.
Really?
It is constant.
Wow, he won't leave you alone then.
My other sister, because I had lost a sister in last October, but my sister who's still with us, her and I were always extremely close with my father, a little more close with my father than maybe the other two children were very close with my mother. And it's so odd because, you talk about coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence.
They say there are no accidents.
My father's nickname was Bay. That's what my mother had called him from the time they were dating when she was 17 and he was 20, okay? And because that was short for Babe. She used to call him Babe, but then they shortened it to Bay. So even my children grew up saying Bay, instead of Grandpa. But anyway, really cute. So when we ever talk about him in our family, we're saying Bay. But that wasn't that was just his nickname.
Right.
I live off Bay Avenue. My sister in another town lives off Bay Avenue.
It's one long avenue.
We can't, Bay Avenue.
Okay.
Where I live,
B-A-Y?
B-A-Y.
Okay.
And anytime she leaves her house, she has no choice but to go on Bay Avenue. When I leave my house, I have no choice but to go on Bay Avenue.
That's amazing.
Things like that.
We have
but
a
constantly
Bay Street
I'm talking to him.
Right, wow, it's amazing.
Yeah.
We have a Bay Street on Staten Island.
Yeah, and if I'm upset, I'll suddenly see a license plate that says Bay.
Oh.
Or he also sends me information in numbers, but also he has manifested himself to my sister, myself, my husband. Yes,
manifested,
my son.
like in the flesh.
Manifested.
Right. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
he's been gone since 1984.
Wow, my father's gone since 85.
Yeah.
Early 85.
So, but anyway, the thing is that, yes, a soul, I'm glad we actually got on that topic because it can be split. It can be in two places at the same time.
Now, say for instance, you or I wanted to split and go to another, be present in our body, but also present somewhere else.
Yeah, there's saints that do that all the time.
Oh, I'm sure.
And we can.
But they're saints.
But we can also do remote viewing. Sure, we could if we really wanted to.
Yeah. I don't know. It sounds scary to me, though.
I know. I think you have to be really, really highly evolved, and that's part of each lifetime that you come back. That's what it's about. To become higher and higher and higher in your vibration so you're more highly evolved
Yes.
until you reach ascension.
That's right, because that's the reason. That's the main reason that we voluntarily come back. Some of us are sent back, go back and do it again. All right, but some of us say, "Well, I lived a good life and everything, but I really would on the next go round like to get to a higher level. So I think I'll go back and and whatever happens. If I have to suffer, if I have good stuff, whatever it is, it'll get me to the next level when I come back again."
Absolutely. Also, I want to say this, that I have found through all my years of practice, and this is through my readings when I'm connecting with the spirit world, through my past life regressions. When a person commits suicide, they always come back very quickly because they need to fulfill the karma that they did not complete.
Right, they have to do it over
Yes.
so that they do it the right way the next time.
Yes.
Even though some people, they say that suicide is the most selfish act you can do because you are really giving your loved ones a very difficult time then.
Yes.
And that is very selfish of you to do that.
Absolutely, and you should not do that,
That's
of
right.
course.
You should never do that.
Never.
It's against most, if not all, religions and
Right.
everything, But you're saying that they come back right away to do it over again because they made the mistake of taking their own life.
Absolutely. So they really don't get to escape anything, and actually the karma will be harder
Right.
because of the karma they created with all the loved ones that are hurting so bad.
Right.
See?
Right.
So you can't escape it,
No, you're right.
So that's where it's at. And I also have noticed too that children who pass unexpectedly from illness or whatever accidents, they also reincarnate more quickly.
Really?
More quickly. Yes, absolutely. I've noticed this. It's really quite interesting, but it's logical, isn't it?
Well, I watch all the hauntings and ghost stories and stuff like that on television,
Yeah.
And then sometimes they do come across children that have still been kind of stuck here that didn't know where to go or.
Well, that's because they're stuck.
Yeah.
That's because they're stuck in between planes.
So if they're stuck, then their reincarnations aren't going to happen because of the fact that they have to move on before they can do that.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And any souls that are stuck should be absolutely guided to the light.
Exactly. Yes.
And go
I
ahead.
think a lot of them aren't because they don't know about the light. We're more, I think, informed in this day and age.
Day and age, yes.
But
Yes.
before, no, who knew from light and that you should go toward it when you're gone.
Well, usually it's some unresolved issue in that particular location or some kind of trauma they're still attached to that they're reenacting or something like that. So that's why they should be guided very gently.
Oh, sure.
And it's been my experience, unless I'm lucky enough because I'm surrounded with the angels when I'm connecting with past loved ones, people's loved ones that have passed, that they really only have love. They can't harm you. They can't. They can't harm you.
The children?
The souls that
Souls.
have passed. At least the ones that I connect with. But of course, I go to the highest.
Well, yeah,
plane.
but there are souls that I've seen some stories on TV too about spirits that attack and spirits that do harm and stuff like that.
Well, they're on a very low plane. And in any of my readings, I never connect. I have never connected with, my vibration is so high that I automatically go to the level of the angels because it's just
And
the
at
way
that
it
point,
works.
and then when you do that, you're very protected, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so it's just automatic. And the reason I'm looking up that way is because when I'm in a reading, that's exactly where they come from.
They come from above.
Right up there. Right. On that side.
Well, we know they're always around. And when we see like three numbers together, 111, 222, 333, etc. Whenever I see that, I just say, "Hi, angels."
Yeah, right?
Right.
Oh, I know. I love the vibration of the numbers.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. There's a specific number that my father gives me and shows me.
Yeah.
And it happens to be equal to an 8. As above, so below. And very prominent. Very, very prominent. So every time that I see that number, I know. And at this point, my children realize it, my sister realizes it, and they've noticed that any time that there's something happening in their lives that they're very upset about, they'll see that number, and all of a sudden they know, okay, Bay's here.
Right. Well, yeah, I have certain numbers too that I see that relate to certain people. Like 418 is my parents' anniversary, so I'll feel, oh, mom and dad is both here.
See? Yeah.
You know, and 211 is my friend Frank, his birthday, and if I see 211, I know I say hi, Frank.
You
know, when you see these certain numbers that they're trying to tell you, I'm there with you.
That's a beautiful birthday.
Yeah.
211.
Oh yeah, you think so?
Oh yeah. My goodness, Aquarius, and then plus has the 11, which is a master number. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, he was a beautiful person.
Yes.
He was. Did you ever meet Frank?
Yes.
That she did. That's right.
Many years ago.
He was here. Well, he's gone. December will be 6 years. He's gone.
Oh wow.
Yeah, time flies.
So
but
sorry.
I miss him. But I always say hello to him when I see a little reminder that he's around.
Absolutely.
And I know he's around me a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, for sure. Helping you.
Yes, helping me. Absolutely.
Helping you.
Probably helping in the studio and everything too. You know, we have I'm sure a lot of spirits that were once producers here, like Frank and others, that come here, and people that have helped me before that have gone on and that come in to help anyway, again and again.
I think that's beautiful. And let me tell you, I mean, especially because it's such a nice atmosphere here.
Yeah, it is.
Everybody makes you feel so at home, especially you and the other producers here. It's the truth. They do.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
We have a lot of good people hanging out here.
Yes. So you have to come down and see me for a past life regression.
Absolutely. I'm thinking about that as we're talking. I'm saying I got to find a way to get to her.
Exit 69 on the Parkway.
69, okay.
Yeah, right on
I used to go
your
down
line.
to 63. A friend of mine's son has a place, but it was devastated by the hurricane.
Oh, yeah.
And he still hasn't really fixed it up, but I used to love to go over there and spend a weekend. And he was on one of those little canal things that they have there, you know, the water.
I know. Yes.
And,
I had a friend of mine that had
It was
a house
always
there.
a lot of fun to go there.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, so
absolutely.
I'm hoping he gets it straightened out soon, Tommy. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was a nice place to go to, and then we would hop over to Long Beach Island to the restaurants over there, and there's the big lighthouse over there. I like lighthouses.
That's where I'm from.
Right,
My
that's the
neighborhood.
area. Yeah, so
There you go.
that's it. All right, well
Yeah.
we'll get there sometime very
Yeah.
soon. I hope.
I hope so.
Maybe before the cold weather starts coming in.
Yeah, right. Before
know?
the snow. But in reference to past lives, also, it's just they can come to you like deja vu. You ever feel like you've been somewhere before?
Yes.
And you just don't know why. And like what you were saying before, people that come in and out of your life, that you just immediately feel a connection to, immediate connection.
When you feel a connection to somebody like that, you feel that you must have known that person in a past life.
Absolutely.
Must have had some kind of relationship with that person.
Absolutely. And the way that you know, and by the way, in my past life regressions, what I tell my clients to do is that when they are in the past life, to be sure to look in the eyes of whoever they connect with in their past lifetime, because the eyes are the window to the soul.
That's
the
right.
eyes are the window to the soul.
That's right.
And so maybe the embodiment in that previous lifetime might be that of a man, whereas it's really their mother from this lifetime. See what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
That's just how it works.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
how it works.
Yeah.
It's what, because it really is true. And even when people come to see me for a reading, lots of times I'll tell people, I mean, I don't need that because I do gallery readings where I'll go through an audience of 200 people
Really?
and do, oh yeah.
Oh, we'll have to do that sometime in the big studio.
Oh, I'd love to. The medium
Really?
readings,
Yes?
absolutely.
Okay, we'll do
yes,
that.
I do medium gallery readings.
Really?
But what I tell people when they're coming even for a one-on-one reading with me, if they'd like to bring up to 5 photographs or pictures, it could even be on their cell phone, you know,
Right.
as long as I can see the eyes, because connecting
That's
with
what.
those
Yes,
eyes.
I've heard that before. I've
Yeah.
heard that before. Other mediums and psychics have said to me, if you're going to show a picture, I have to see the eyes.
Yeah, sunglasses don't.
No, so sunglasses won't tell you anything.
No, no. Oh, right.
They'll just say I'm cool. So anyway, but yeah, no, this is really an interesting subject. I used to not believe in past lives.
Yeah, you
I
said
used to
that
hope
before.
to God that we didn't have past lives, but then I came to the conclusion after my own experiences, well, we do, just accept it. It's there, and we come back and forth, and when we're on the other side, we can either stay there sometimes or decide to come back for our own reasons of wanting to hire our souls. But and then, like I said, sometimes we're told, you did it wrong that time, go back.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I want to thank you for coming.
Aw.
This has been a very interesting conversation, really, and I'm
Yes.
sure that our audience is going to find a lot of information in this about past lives, because you are just chock full of information. And I want to thank you for coming again. And we did this as spur of the moment, so it turned out to be a great show for spur of the moment.
It
huh?
sure did, and it was great. Thank you
was-
so much for having me.
Oh,
Thank you, Christine.
my pleasure. My
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Anytime we're going to be doing future shows, I'm sure.
Okay,
I am sure.
wonderful.
In the meantime, I want to say thank you to everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show, and good night.